Now and forever, we bring IT to life.
Thank you, Paula, and welcome to our Connect with Remedy monthly webinar event. This month is on data access model enhancements in 9.1, as well as we're going to talk about hierarchical groups. During the session, if you have any questions, please use the Q&A panel to ask any questions, and our panelists will answer those questions throughout the event. Today, Ashok Jha will be taking us through this content, and he is a staff specialist product developer. Ashok?
Yeah. So, hello everyone, and welcome to Connect with Remedy webinar series. I am Ashok Jha from BMC Software, and I will talk to you on some of the major enhancements that we have made in our upcoming 9.1 release. So, from the agenda, what we will be covering. So I will start with the data access model enhancements in 9.1. Then I will go through the support for hierarchical group feature that we have introduced in 9.1. I will also talk about the data restrictions in the assignment menus based on the configuration. Then I will also walk you through the demo to explain the concepts and will show how it works. So data access model in 9.1. Now, if you have a look at the BMC Remedy applications, we have basically two different kinds of data. And the data access need also differs. So we have configuration data and we have transactional data. Now, if you will have a look at the pre-9.1 environment, you will find that all access to the system is tied to the company. So what it essentially means is that every member of a company can see the tickets of every other member of the company. But we need to understand that these are two different types of data and the data access need differs. When we talk about this configuration data, it is all about choices and menus and lists that actually drive the application. But when we talk about transactional data, it is about the actual content of the ticket themselves. So we may want, like all users, to have access to the configuration data that is defined for their company. However, I might not want all my users to have access to all ticket data for that company. I want that limited to the support staff. So keeping this philosophy in mind, what we have changed the data access model for the transactional request in 9.1. We have moved away from a very open kind of system to a more restricted, controlled access, with the ability to extend it as per your need. So with 9.1, you will find that the transactional requests are now restricted to individuals who are associated with the ticket and to the support groups who are associated to the ticket. If you talk about the row level security field that we have, which is 112, the data that would be populated would be the login ID of individuals and the permission group ID of support groups, which are related to the ticket. The other very notable thing to find is, like, we have made a clear separation between what data, what row level security field would be handled by BMC, and we have kept 112 for ourselves. So what it means is, like, 112 would be populated by out of the box workflows. The other row level security field, which is our vendor assignee group, we have kept it blank from 9.1 onwards. So they are meant for customer usage, and customers can write their own workflows in order to populate this particular vendor assignee group field as per the additional data access need. Now coming to the applications which all got affected for this data access model enhancement, it is ITSM and SRM application. Now within ITSM, if you talk about our knowledge management, which is RKM, so there is no change from the access point of view because it was already working based on the support group model. From the problem known error and the solution database, there is no change because we want, it will still continue to work based on the company access because we want the knowledge, known error and solution database request to be available for all the employees in the company. So they would remain as is. Now, so if you see what we have done in 9.1 is we have standardized the set of permissions which are actually being added to request ID field, which is nothing but our field 1. Now if you see the standard set of fields that we have added includes submitter, assignee group, which is 112. Then we have vendor assignee group. And then the two ones which you are seeing in italics, which is the parent assignee group and parent vendor assignee groups. Now these fields are coming from our other enhancements that we have made, which is the support for hierarchical groups. So these parent fields are also now part of the standard permissions, and then we have an unrestricted access role. Having all this in place, let me just quickly take an example of an incident management application and illustrate what values would be actually populated in my 112 and who all will get access to the request. So if I would have a look at the 112 values, it will be populated with the customer login ID, the direct contact login ID if we have specified, then the assigned group ID, which is the permission group of assigned support group, and then the permission group of owner support group ID. Now this is what will go in 112. Now as a result, who all will get access to this particular ticket data? The customer himself, because his login ID is now part of my 112. If I have specified any direct contact, his login ID will also be a part of my 112. The submitter will also get access because now we have got this submitter permission added as a standard permission on field 1. Assignee, that is also a standard permission added to field 1. Then the members, all the members belonging to the assigned support group and all the members belonging to the owner support group. And lastly, we see that all the members belonging to parent group of assigned support group and owner support group. Now this feature is coming from our hierarchical support, which I would be covering later in the slides. So moving ahead, what will happen to my transactional request? So if we talk about any of the transactional child forms, they generally inherit permissions from the parent request. So 112 and 6900 would be taken from their parent request. But if you have got any additional forms where there are assignments, as an example, the task. So in that case, whatever the assigned support group for the task, it will be appended along with the parent 112 values. And coming to the work log and work info, there is one exception there, the value in 112 in case of work info or work logs would depend on the field view access. So if your view access is set to internal, so what it essentially means is we will remove the customer login ID and the rest of the information from parent would flow to work log 112. But if it is type of public, then the parent 112 will be copied as is in the work info 112 as well. So in case of internal, what it essentially means is customer would not be able to view the work info which are of type internal. So what are the benefits that we'll get for this about this new data access model that we have introduced in 9.1? The most important benefit is we are easily able to segregate our different types of ticket data. As an example, let's say if you take this model where we have one company called Calibre Services and it has got different functional units like IT, HR, SecOps. So we can do a clear segregation of different kinds of data, and the data visibility would depend based on the access the user has. So as an example, IT support staff would have access to only the IT tickets, HR support staff users would have access to HR tickets, and so on. So this also gives you a good data security so far as the data visibility is concerned. Now let me quickly walk you through a demo to illustrate how it works. So what I did is I created a different set of profiles, user profiles based on the support groups, and then I will show you depending on the user support group membership, the access to the ticket would differ. So I have got different kinds of users being created. So as an example, I have got a user who belongs to back office support. I have got users belonging to service desk. I've also created a user which we are calling it as a customer user, and I am actually assigning this user to service desk. So we have got two different users belonging to service desk in order to try to demonstrate the functionality, like customer would get access, but the other user belonging to service desk would not. Then we have also got users belonging to change management application. So the basic use case that I'm trying to showcase over here is like the incident ticket would be accessible to the concerned individuals and to the support group members who are actually supporting that particular request. So what I did, like I am going ahead and creating an incident request, and in the assigned group, I will do a manual assignment, and I will see like this ticket gets assigned to back office support from the Calibro services. So I'm just assigning this ticket to back office support. Plus, I would also make sure that the owner group is also back office support. So what it essentially means is like now this ticket should be accessible only to customers plus the back office support users. So I will do a logout and then we'll try to log in with a back office support user credential. So we have got user BOS there, who was actually a member of back office support. As you can see in the people profile, this particular user, the support group membership is back office support. So he goes ahead and searches for the same incident that we have actually recently created. So as per the expectation, he should be able to search this particular request. So as you can see, like I was able to search the same incident because I am now part of the back office support. Now the other use case is like I am trying to log in with a different user with a different support group. So if I talk about user SD, we have seen that this user belongs to service desk. So I will try to search for the same incident over here. And the expectation is like I should not be able to get access because he belongs to a different support group. So you can see like I got a no match found because I belong to service desk. Now in the third use case, what I'm trying to show is like I have got a customer user profile and he will also try to search for the same incident. Now just keep in mind like this user also belongs to service desk. So if I see the profile of this user, he also belongs to service desk. But just because he was the customer for that particular request that I created, he should get access because his login ID is now part of my 112. So I will go ahead and search for the same incident, and I can see like this customer is actually being able to search for the same incident request. So this is as per the expectation that customer should be able to search his own incident request. Yeah, so just to note, like to make sure that back office support doesn't have any parent group, I will also just verify that, so this is a new feature that the hierarchical group support has come, which I will cover in the next slide, but I'm just showing over here like this back office support or the service desk doesn't have any hierarchy defined. So they are just a support group in themselves. There is no parent being defined. So this field is actually blank. So there is no parent group being defined. So whatever the requests are being assigned to those support groups, members belonging to those support groups will only get access to the request. So if I talk about this particular incident, we have back office support. So only people from back office and the customer, or if I specified any direct contact, they should be able to get access to this particular request. Yeah, so this was about our new data access model enhancements that we have made in 9.1. Now moving to the next topic, which is like support for hierarchical groups. So this functionality has been added and we have consumed in our applications. The support group, support for hierarchical group, it will allow an application to create a structure, a hierarchical structure where the parent group will have access to data for the child groups. Now what benefits that we get is like we can easily organize our large groups that we have in a hierarchical model, and from the data access point of view, we can actually extend or roll up as per the need. Now from the data population point of view, this field gets automatically populated by AR, so there is no workflow involved. And it's a pure AR feature that we are now consuming in our applications in 9.1. So what has changed and which all applications are affected by this hierarchical group functionality? from the application point of view, this hierarchical group fields are now added to CMDB, ITSM, SRM, and SLM applications. As we have seen that standard set of permissions has been added to field 1. So we have got assignee group parent, which is 69989 field, and we have got vendor assignee group parent, which is 6901 field. The other thing to note is like we have got the form definition where this dynamic permissions inheritance property is updated. So we can see 112 is now paired with 6989. So what it means is like 6989 is the parent of 112. Similarly, 6901 is a parent of 6900. So what are the benefits that we can get from this hierarchical group model? We can use this feature in order to define my additional data access need. So we have introduced a new configuration form, which is a hierarchical group configuration form where you can actually go ahead and configure your parents for the support groups. So let me just take an example to illustrate like we have a requirement where we want all my IT managers to have access to all the IT tickets that are assigned to their respective support groups. So how we can achieve or how we can give access to those managers or approvers who wants access to all the IT tickets. So what we can do is like we'll just create a new support group and we can name it as IT data access. So you can give your own name. And then the next step would be like I would make all the members who want access to all the tickets. So we will give a support group membership of IT data access to all the needed users. For example, in our case, it is IT managers. Then the next would be like I would just make this new group that I have created, IT data access, as the parent of all the support groups under IT support. So how it looks like. So if you can just see this diagram, we have got IT support. Under it, we were having 3 different support groups. So what I did is like we introduced a new support group, which is IT data access, and made it as a parent of back office service desk and change management. Similarly, what we can do is like we can replicate the same behavior for HR. So in case of HR also, we can replicate the same behavior. We'll have a HR data access support group, and they can be made parent of, let's say, different support groups which are under HR organization. Now, if you want to roll it up further, like I want some members who can have access to both HR and IT. So I want users who can have access to all the HR tickets plus IT data access. I can create another support group. As an example, let's say in my case, I've just created one support group called CTO office, and I would make that support group as a parent of HR data access as well as parent of IT data access. So what it essentially means is like parent support group will have access to the child support group tickets that are assigned to them. So let me show you a demo to illustrate like how it works. We have got a new configuration form. So how we can access is like, so first of all, what we'll do is like we'll recap the same requirement that we had. So we'll create a new support group, which is our IT data access support group, because we wanted them to make it as a parent. So we just created a new support group over here and named it as, let us say, IT data access. The next thing that I will do is like I will create a new user profile because IT manager profile is not there. So I will just create a IT manager user profile over here quickly to see like, because I want IT managers to have access to all the tickets falling under IT. So I'll just create a IT manager support staff profile. We can see like I'm just creating that user IT manager. We can give a general permission because I want him access to incident request. So I'll give him an incident permission. And the important part is like I will make him as a support group membership to IT data access. So we go to the support group tab and then we click on the update support groups and roles. And then we select IT data access because I want this person to be part of this IT data access group. So I selected and the new support group that we recently created and made him the member of that particular group. And then just create this particular profile. The next task could be like I would make this IT data access as a parent of the different support groups that fall under IT. So as I said, like we have introduced a new configuration form. So you go to the custom configuration, foundation, we have advanced options. Then you can see our new link, which is hierarchical group configuration. Click on that link. It will actually take you to the new window where we have got this hierarchical group configuration form defined. So what we want, so in our case, what the requirement is like, we have got support groups and we want to make IT data access as parent of that support group. So in our case, both are support groups. So we'll go ahead and choose from this option, like I want to have parent for support groups. So hierarchical group configuration, it allows you to have parent for company as well as support group. So what I did is like, I just went ahead and made this as a parent. So I selected support group over here. Then I come down and we have option like set parent group type. So there also we want IT data access. So from here, I would just select from Calbro services, IT data access, and click on the save button. So once I click on the save button, it will be updated. The parent group would be updated with my IT data access. So as a result, the back office, front office, change management services, they all get updated with their parent one, which is an IT data access support group. Now, what I will try to do is like, we have got a user profile, which is IT manager. So what I will try to do is like, I will try to log in with that particular user and will try to search for that particular request. So I log in with a IT manager profile and will search for the same incident request. So the request that I previously created, I will try to search for that incident request. So you can see like I was not able to find this particular record. So what it says like though our expectation was like since IT manager is a parent of back office support and this 105 incident which was created was actually assigned to back office. So IT manager should have been able to search for this particular request, but I was not. Now the expectation is like he should be able to, but why he is not able to find right now is because we have just changed the hierarchy. So once you change the hierarchy, AR tries to process this request in the background. So what it does is like whenever this hierarchy changes, it tries to find all the forms where this is being affected and will try to update all the requests that we have with the new parent value. So this information is happening in the background. So it may take a while before your parent hierarchy gets updated and is reflected. Depending on the volume of data, this may vary. So once your parent group hierarchy and all the transactional requests are updated, you would be able to search for this request. So I just waited for a while and just searched for this new incident. So now I should be able to search for this particular incident. So I just went ahead and again searched for the same incident with the IT manager profile, and you can see like I was able to search this particular request. The other thing is like, but when I'm creating a new request or modifying a request where my assignment things are changed, it should get reflected immediately. So what I will try to do now is like I will go ahead and create a new request and will assign the ticket to some back office support or to some other groups, as an example service desk, and will ensure that this IT manager is able to search for that particular incident instantly. So I'm just creating a new incident. So there's the same customer user I selected, and I'm just selecting some of the default values there. And in the assignment group, I'm purposefully selecting a group which is service desk, let's say. And in the owner also, I, let's say, made service desk as the owner. So once this request is created, the expectation is like members belonging to service desk would get access. Plus, since we have a parent group, now this parent group member should also get access to this particular request. So I will now log out and log in with the IT manager profile that I recently created. Now this IT manager user belongs to my IT data access. As you have seen, and I will try to search the same incident which I've just recently created. So this 107, I will search, and I can see like this now is being instantly received. So there is no downtime there, and I can instantly search for this particular request. So you can see like this ticket actually being assigned to service desk. And if I would have a look at my IT manager profile, you can see like he belongs to IT data access. So I just search for that. I will show you like in the people profile. And you can see in the support group membership, he actually belongs to IT data access. Now, why he's getting access to that particular incident? Because we made the parent group as IT data access. So as you can see, like from this request, we can see like the service desk has got IT data access support group as the parent support group. So this is all about our new features, which is about our support for hierarchical groups. Now coming to the most important thing, which I think most of us over here are waiting for, is like how would be my upgrade experience. Now when I'm actually, if I would talk about pre 9.1, we have seen that this row level security fields, which was 112 and 6900, they were all being populated with company permission group ID. But with 9.1, the row level security fields are now being populated with concerned individual login ID plus the support group permission group ID. So the way the data is being populated from 9.1 has changed. But in order to preserve the backward compatibility and to ensure that there is no change in behavior, what we are doing is like as part of the upgrade, we are updating the parent group of all the support groups with their corresponding company permission group ID. We are using migration task for this purpose. So what it essentially means is like I have got the parent as the company for all the support groups. As a result, what you'll find is like there is no change in behavior. Like I was previously also I was able to search the incidents belonging to my company. Now also I should be able to do so. The only thing that has changed is like what values are now being populated in 112 and what was being populated previously. The next thing comes in like how can, because if I want to go with the new model, how should I go about it? So we should go and change the hierarchical group configuration, which is now being set at the company level, and we'll modify it as per our need. We can have a different kind of configuration there, a different kind of support group hierarchical structure. Based on our need, I will update my hierarchy and that should start working. Now, if I talk about your old transactional records that are being carried forward from your pre 9.1 environment, so there is no change. So we are not modifying any of the data so far as 112 or 6900 fields is concerned. They will still contain the old company permission group IDs and the visibility would still govern or drive based on the company permissions. Now coming to the other thing which we actually considered is like the overlays. So what will happen if my forms are overlays? So as you know, like as part of our hierarchical group feature, we are updating the form properties, which is nothing but the dynamic permissions inheritance. Now this dynamic permissions inheritance property falls under our other definitions list that we have there, and the overlay type that is defined for other definitions would actually control this particular field. So what we need to verify is like what is the overlay type defined for other definitions. So if we find that the overlay type is set to overwrite, what it means is like we need to reconcile the information. So if it is no overlay or additive, it works. But if your overlay type is override, then you need to reconcile this dynamic permissions inheritance property. Yeah, so moving ahead, so coming to the third enhancement, which is actually about restricting the data in the assignment menus. This is nothing but a mode of security enhancement, which we are calling it as like the menus data that is previously there in pre 9.1 behavior was more of an user permission based driven. So what it essentially means is like if I have got a user who has got, let's say, access restriction to 3 different companies. As an example, let's say company A, company B, and company C. So in pre-9.1 behavior, when such user was coming and creating a request and looking for the assignment menus, he was actually able to see all the support groups belonging to all the 3 different companies. Now, what was the drawback there? Like, though some support groups are not meant for that particular request, and if I accidentally or mistakenly, if I am selecting some support groups there, it actually leads to data visibility across tenants. So that was a drawback there, and what we are trying to do in 9.1 is like assignment menus, whatever we have will be driven based on the companies that are actually associated with the ticket and the configurations which are defined for that company. So for this particular menu restriction, we have got a new configuration form which will allow an admin user to configure what support groups are valid or what support groups we want to allow to be shown in the menu restriction. The company that are being considered is the customer company and location company. So let us see like how it works. So as I said, like we have introduced a new support group assignment configuration form, and user with contact, organization, admin permission will have access to this particular form. Now in this configuration forms, we can define like which are my valid or the allowable support groups for that particular company. So for each company, you can actually define like which all are the valid or allowable support groups for the assignment. And based on your configuration, assignment menus would show the data that is there. Now, so this the new configuration, maybe you need to do it for the fresh install, but in case of upgrade, we are taking a lot of things so that you don't have to go and configure it from the scratch. So in case of upgrade, what we are doing is like we are automatically populating this new configuration form with data from 2 different areas. Now one is our CFG assignment, which is nothing but your auto assignment configuration. So in case of CFG assignment, whatever configurations you had there for the automatic routing to follow, we are just pulling that data for each of the location and contact company and populating this new assignment configuration form. The other one is the CTN support group. So we are making all the support groups that are defined for that company as a valid and the allowable support group for that particular company. So that is being defined by default. Also note that whenever we are creating a new support group, that support group is automatically added as a valid support group assignment information. So let me just quickly show you a demo of how it works. So let me share my screen. Yeah, so as I said, like we have introduced a new configuration form. So we'll go to custom configuration, and contact organization admin will have only access to this. So go to advanced options, and then we can see like support group assignment configuration form. So open this link, and you can see there are 2 different sets of data. So on the right, we have got a service company. So when I'm trying to configure the right one, so this one will say like for Calbro services as an example, which all support groups are the valid or the allowable support groups. So I will select that from the list, and as you can see, like all the support groups which are within that company is now being populated. The next thing that comes is like, what if I want companies or support groups from different companies to also be able to assign it? So what we can do is like we'll go for menu on the left, and we'll select like I want support group A1 from company A to actually be able to assign the ticket from Calbro services. So I selected that company and put it in the right hand table. As a result, when I'm creating ticket or data for Calbro services, all the support groups which fall under Calbro plus the support group which we have recently added, which is support A1, will also be a valid assignment. So we will see support A1 in our list. As you can see, like now I have added, I will go ahead and see, will create a new request and see how my assignment menu now looks like. So I'm now creating a ticket for Calbro. So you can see like this company that we are considering over here is Calbro services. So whatever configuration we have done for Calbro, that should only be shown in my list. So we go ahead and create a new incident request, some of the values that we just populated, and see what all values are now coming in my menu. So as you can see, like we have got company A and all the things from support group, Calbro. Similarly, if I find the owner, you can see like I can see this company A support group in my list. Since I have added it in the configuration, this is coming in my list. Now, if you have already configured such type of data as part of your automated assignment, that will automatically flow. So you don't need to bother about like from the upgrade perspective that I need to reconfigure it. So if such configurations are already done and you are using it as part of your automated assignment, that would automatically flow into a new support group assignment form. So I just selected this support group user and will save the request. And then so the ticket is, I am able to assign the ticket to different support group from company A. Now let's say I have got a different requirement, like as you have seen in the previous examples, what I did is like I created a new support group called IT Data Access, where all my managers were the members of that particular ticket. Now let's say like I want data access visibility for that IT Data Access support group, but I don't want the tickets to be assigned to IT Data Access. As you can see, like over here, I can actually assign the ticket to IT Data Access. But in reality, I don't want the ticket to be assigned anytime to this IT Data Access, because these are meant for the managers and they should not be assigned the ticket. They should only have the visibility or the access need, but they should not be assigned the ticket directly. So how I can go about and ensure that this even accidentally I am not able to assign this ticket. So I would go ahead and for the new configuration form that we have, that is a support group assignment configuration form. So I will go in that form. And what I need to do is like I need to remove that IT Data Access support group from the list. So as you can see, like if I select Calbro services, it lists all the support groups that are now supporting this Calbro services. Now the need is like I don't want IT Data Access to be appearing in my assignment menus. So what I can do is like I can just select this particular request and move it from the list. So once I move it, IT Data Access goes away and it shows you. So now the refresh list that you can see, so back office, change management, front office support, so only these would now appear in my menu. So IT Data Access is now gone from the assignment menu list. So if you can go ahead and see the same incident request that we had, you will find a difference. So let's say I'm just checking the assigned group, and you can see like from the Calbro services, I have removed IT Data Access, and that is no longer available in my new list. The same is the case with owner, because I have removed it from the assignment. So even in the assignment, I am not seeing in the owner group this IT Data Access support group. So what it essentially reflects is like we have got a granular control on what all support groups I want to be available for assignment and which all I don't want. If I talk in summary, like what are the enhancements that has particularly around this 9.1, we have got data access enhancement, data access model, where we are now restricting the access to individuals and to the support group members which are associated to the request. We have also added the capability where we can extend the data access using this hierarchical group. And then we can also restrict the data that is showing in the assignment menus. And this is purely configuration driven. So whatever I have configured, that will be reflected in my assignment menus. So these are the three major enhancements that has come in 9.1 release. From the documentation perspective, you can go through the wiki docs that we have bmc.docs.com, where we have got documentation on all the enhancement that has come in 9.1 related to data access model, row-level security, hierarchical groups, and data restriction in assignment menus. With this, I think we can move to the Q&A session.
Hi, Ashok. This is Steve. I have several questions lined up. And for the audience members, please continue to ask your questions in the Q&A section. And if they don't get answered, I will ask them live. So let's start off with the first question. It is, is the hierarchical group configuration form part of ITSM, or is it a base ARS form?
Yeah, so this is a part of the ITSM configuration. So this falls under our custom configuration foundation advanced options. So this is a part of our ITSM foundation.
Okay, thanks for the clarification. Next question is, how does the unrestricted flag play into all of this for users who have unrestricted access checked on the people record?
Okay, so when we have got this people unrestricted flag checked, what it means is like he's an unrestricted access user. So if you can see the field one, which is our request ID field, the standard permissions we have seen is the unrestricted access role. So such users would automatically get access to all the requests. So if you have got users having unrestricted access role, he will get access to all the ticket data.
Great, thank you. The next question is, how would managers get summary reports across multiple support groups?
Yeah, so from the reporting point of view, he can actually do a report, so which was in general like he can do a report on all the support groups which are within his organization. So this model that we are talking about, which is the data access enhancement and the support for hierarchical group, this is primarily on the data access, like who all can get access to the request. So it is all about the row level access that we are talking. From the reporting perspective, nothing has changed. So the way you used to do reporting, you need to query for all the different support groups that are underlying your IT organizations.
Okay, I guess you can create a parent group, correct, and map them to the support groups?
Yeah, so that would actually give you access. From the reporting point of view, maybe I'm not understanding like what is the exact question, if you can illustrate.
And unfortunately, we don't have any more information other than that simple question. We'll go ahead and move on to the next question here. Does the update, does the hierarchical group configuration, does it update all tickets or only open ones? And I think what they're referring to is pre versus post upgrade.
Okay, so I think I have mentioned like we are not touching any of the pre 9.1 data that you are carrying forward. So once your so the 112 and 6900, they remain as is. So the new field that we are talking about is the 6989 that would get populated. So we are not touching any of the old transactional records that we have.
Okay, thanks again for the clarification. The next question is, will this hierarchical access still work in BOE analytics reports?
So are we talking about the access need? Because this only governs like who all can get access to the data. So we have got the row level access. So when we are defining a parent of some support groups, what it essentially means is like parent would get access to the child request as well. So from the analytics point of view, I'm not sure like what is the requirement there and how it goes in that case. Maybe I think we can come back on this particular topic.
Yes, very good. The next question is, will this change to field ID 112 have any effect on access restriction functionality where we provide company-based restriction on the data to be visible to end users?
Yeah, so as I said, like previously, if you see like pre 9.1, your 112 was being populated with the company permission group ID. Now with 9.1 and going forward, we are now populating with the support group ID and the concerned individual's login ID. Now from the backward compatibility point of view, what we are ensuring is like whatever are your assignment support groups, all the support groups that you have, they are being parented with their company. So far as the data population logic in 112 is concerned, that is changed. But from the access point of view, the company access still holds true. So the people from that company will still get access to the ticket.
Okay, great. Thank you. After 9.1, if I create a new hierarchical group, will it update closed tickets?
New hierarchical groups, and we are talking about the old records. So from the old records, whatever data was there in pre-9.1, so far as the 112 and 6900 is concerned, they will not be updated. So they will remain as is. So even if you are creating a new hierarchical group, your 112 and 6900 is not going to change.
Okay, thank you. Can the available assignment groups be limited by support group or only by company?
Yeah, can you just repeat the question?
Can the available assignment groups be limited by support group or only by company?
So the way it works is like you have got a company and you can define what all support groups are the valid or allowable support groups for that particular company. So from a company perspective, what all assignment support groups would be available. So once you have defined that in the menu, it will work like when you are selecting a customer or a location, it goes ahead and searches for this particular new configuration form and will show only those support groups which you have configured for that company. So it works on like on the company, whatever you have configured, those lists would be shown in your assignment menus.
Great. This next question is regarding some incident management roles. Is there any difference between incident user and incident master user in Service Desk 9.1 regarding access to tickets?
Yeah, so incident user and incident masters, they are the basic permissions. So from the data access, it has got no role to play. So from the row level access perspective, it all depends on like what all support group membership and whether that individual is related with the request or not. So this permission aspect that we talk about, it comes into play whether you would be able to modify the request or we would be able to take the request throughout the life cycle. But from the access point of view, that we call it as a row level access, it all purely depends on your support group membership and the individual. If you are actually associated with the ticket, either you are a customer or you are a direct contact, then you can get access. So permissions are actually driving whether you can modify or whether you can take the request throughout the life cycle. This data access model that we're talking about, it is purely based on like who all can get access to that request. Access in the sense who all can have a row level access, whether the AR would return me those rows when I'm querying for that particular request.
Okay, great. This next question is really a follow-up to your answer regarding the unrestricted access. It's just for you to clarify. Does it mean unrestricted access will nullify the entire data access model enhancement?
Yeah, that's correct. So if you are defining any user as an unrestricted access, what it means is you are making him as an unrestricted access role user. So unrestricted access role user has got permissions defined on field 1, so he will get access to all the requests.
Okay. We actually have a follow-up to a question you answered regarding the closed incidents or closed tickets. The customer was not referring to pre-9.1 tickets. I was assuming we're at 9.1. We've closed tickets. Then 5 months down the road, we identify the need for a new parent group. When adding a new parent group to the support groups, you mentioned that the system needs to update the records. Is there a performance issue with this? Does it update the last modified by and last modified date? And will it update closed records?
From the performance perspective, all the things are being done in the background, so user will not come to know any performance impact and the access would still continue. On the closed request, when you're changing the hierarchy, I think I will just check and confirm.
Very good. And you'll confirm about the last modified by and last modified date as well?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. The next question I have is, and actually this is the last question that I have, so I'm going to give you guys some extra time to answer or ask your questions in the Q&A section. So the question is, in what version of Smart IT will we see these changes in 9.1? Will it work for all versions of Smart IT or only a particular version going forward?
Yeah, so far as the Smart IT is concerned, so whatever changes that we are talking about, so these this data access or the hierarchical group, they are all server-side changes, which is actually changing the way the data access would flow. So this is applicable to Smart IT as well. So if you're accessing it from the Smart IT, you will see the similar behavior, the data access restriction, and the hierarchical group support. So all of them would work as is in Smart IT as well. The menu restriction would differ only in case of a Smart IT, where the latest version would have a data restriction on the menu. But so far as this data access from 9.1, that will be available even in Smart IT.
Okay. Here's another hierarchical group question. Does a person with a hierarchical group also need functional roles assigned?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, does a person within a hierarchical group also need functional role assigned?
No. So far as the functional role is concerned, they are actually meant for driving the application throughout the life cycle. What we are talking about is the access control, which is about the row level access. So from the row level access perspective, if you are part of the parent group, you will get access, irrespective of whether you have got a functional role or permissions there. So permissions and functional roles, they actually govern driving the application throughout its life cycle, modification. So those features would be governed based on the functional roles or permissions. But from the access point of view, if you are a member of a parent group, you will get row level access to the records which are actually assigned to your child support groups.
Great. Okay, there's a new question. We're switching gears here now. It's regarding the approval engine. Will approvers be provided access anyway to their waiting approval tickets?
So if approvers are part of the groups, then he will get access, or if approvers are part of the parent group, then also. So even if he is an approver, he should have a row level access to that request in order to approve the ticket from the UI. So approvers are generally associated, like they should be approving it from the approval central. So from the approval center, he would be able to approve the request. But if the approvers want approving it from the main request, I think on the change request, if you are talking about, he should have got the row level access either through a support group membership or through a parent support group membership.
Okay, thank you.
So does that answer the question?
Yeah, I believe so, yes. Okay, I just have another question. So if you have any questions, please go to the Q&A section and please post it. One moment, let me scroll up here and get the question. Are the updates in the back end for adding a new parent group done in the back end similar? Well, let me repeat that. Let me rephrase that. Are the updates in the back end for adding a new parent group done similar to the data wizard in version 8? If so, data wizard can cause an impact to performance due to the number of records, and BMC recommends not performing that task during peak hours.
So this data wizard that we talk about, so this data wizard actually works using our application workflows. But when we talk about hierarchical group data population, it's an AR feature, and AR does this job in the background. So there is no application workflows involved in order to update this parent request, parent group field.
Okay, great. Here's another question. They're saying, so we use customer companies. How does this impact us being able to have customers have access only to tickets for that company, but then restrict to tickets for specific support groups assigned tickets under that customer company? And if you need me to repeat that, I will.
Yeah. Just come one second. So, okay, can you just repeat the question?
I thought so. Okay. So we use customer companies. How does this impact us being able to have customers have access only to tickets for that company, but then restrict to tickets for specific support groups assigned tickets under that customer company?
So if you talk about this customer company and the different assignments that are actually the assigned support groups that fall under the same company, so what it essentially means is like in pre-9.1, our row-level security field was being populated with the customer company. So the result was like all the members belonging to that company was getting access. Now that is not an ideal behavior that we would be looking forward. So what we did is like the access model has changed for the transactional request, and now we are saying is like the customer wants access to the request because he is the customer for that particular. So his login ID would be now going in 112. Now the other concerned persons who are actually associated to the ticket are the support group members who support those tickets. So the permission group ID of support groups who are associated with the request are also being populated in 112. So if you see from the model, the support group members would get access plus the customer. The company level access is no longer there. Now the company part that we talked about was basically to have a backward compatibility where we are actually parenting the support group parent with the company so that there is no change in behavior post upgrade to 9.1.
Okay, great. Well, this comes to the time in the presentation where I call for a last call for questions. I'll give you a few moments, and we'll see if anything pops up. Okay, this one just came in. We are using Incident Viewer for end customers to review their own incident records. They are not part of any support groups, just the Incident Viewer. Will they still be able to review their incidents?
So incident viewer is a permission. So if you are creating, let's say, a ticket and you are able to actually review your own ticket, so it means like you are a submitter of that incident. So the submitted permission is there in field 1.
Okay, thanks for the clarification.
So maybe I think the question needs clarity, like what exactly we are looking forward on this incident viewer permission. So we are talking about incident viewer as a permission. So who is the user who is creating the request and who wants an access to that request? So that we need to determine like who has created the request and who needs access to that request. Is the incident viewer permission user that we are talking about is somehow related with that particular request? So I might have some user who belongs to, who, let's say is just an user who doesn't have any support group membership, but just an incident viewer permissions. From the access point of view, the request would be accessible to those who are actually associated with the request, be it a customer, be it a direct contact, or the support group who are actually supporting that request. So if he falls under these two categories, he will get access. Else he will not get access to the request because he is not actually associated with the request itself.
Okay, that's a good answer. Thanks. Just wait a few more moments. Here's a follow-up. In regards to the incident viewer questions, this would be the customer listed on the incident ticket, not the submitter.
So that means like he is a customer. So if he is a customer, he will get access to his own ticket. So this customer login ID is in any case going in 112. So in that case, he will get access to that request.
Okay, thank you. Now this will be the final question. The example we saw was on the incident form for populating field ID 112. what group IDs will be added in the field ID 112 for other ITSM modules like change, release, and problem, as they have multiple assignments, such as coordinator, implementer, manager, etc.
Right. So what we're talking about is like the support groups who are actually supporting the tickets. So if you talk about change management, it is change coordinator, change manager, change implementer. When we talk about problem investigation record, we have got problem coordinator, we have got an problem assigned support group. So we have got two different support group, problem coordinator and assigned. So similarly for all the other requests that we have, it is all about the support groups who are supporting that particular request. So in case of release, we have a release manager, so his support group ID would be populated in 112.
Great, thank you.
And we have got these things captured in our docs as well, like you can go through in details, like for each of the application, which all support groups are being considered and which will flow in our 112.
Perfect. Thanks. Since there are no more questions, we will go ahead and bring this webinar to a close.
Now and forever, we bring IT to life.